firsts.
Good morning. Welcome to Keys for Home.
Good morning.
So does the person in the other female on the podcast today look like me, y'all? Can you see the resemblance?
So similar.
It's my cousin Kathy. She's here. She's going to share with us about Cinch home warranty. Home warranties are a great program. But before we get into all that, let's see what all we've been doing the last week. Kathy, you said you're in Hocking Hills, Ohio, which is a great hiking area. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the U.S. and certainly in Ohio. Cedar Point, I think, might be still edging it out because, roller coasters. But you said it's snowing.
It is snowing right now. It was supposed to be sunshine, 50 degrees today, and snow coming. But no, we skipped the sunshine, went right into the snow.
Ohio. Wow. That's Ohio. Lance,
where's Ohio?
What?
We got 4 of us.
We did the O, and I did the H.
I was trying to bring something up.
I am not doing that. I am not doing that.
Mark is a Longhorn.
Yes.
Go, bud.
Now you talk about weather here. Tim and his friend Mike are going fly fishing just down below the dam here this weekend because it's going to be 67 or 70 degrees this weekend. We're kind of gray and overcast and drizzly today, but I was in Orlando last week. You guys know that Tim is a dive coach and judges college conferences. So we were in Orlando judging he was judging the ASUN college conference, 87 out by the pool, got my first bit of red this year. Cause tan happens later, and came home Sunday and I had my car cleaned, detailed while I was gone. So I had no coat in the car. I had nothing. It was 28 degrees. And I had open toe shoes on. Stellar planning.
You goosebumps.
Let me give a shout out to Mark. Mark made a great post this morning on LinkedIn.
Yes.
I saw that. Got people's attention. People are looking at it. I've got a cool ad campaign going out right here. I don't know if it's showing. That's my new postcard for this month.
All right.
Using a little AI there.
Yeah. Looking a little Yellowstone-ish in Nashville.
Like it. Love it.
That's called the Golden Hour, Jennifer.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I got to interrupt for a second. So Golden, Colorado has a golden retriever gathering every year. And you guys know that I have a German Shepherd golden retriever mix. And I love my Fluffy Wonder. I looked down. He's not in here right now. But 12 South in Nashville has a golden hour once a month where people bring their golden retrievers and gather, because golden retrievers are fantastic. Everybody wants to pet them. When I'm out with Arrow, everybody wants to pet him. I think I'm going to start a golden hour here in Winchester.
No, there you go.
There's probably a bunch of them on the lake, and it can be golden doodles. It can be golden anything.
Golden hour.
No, it's golden. I'm just teasing you.
Arrow's
a half breed.
Yeah.
They'll pick it. They'll be let in our doodles.
Yeah, right. So Mark, your post on LinkedIn was about not using AI for the steps, especially initial steps in job hunting. Is that what you want to share with us for this last week, or you have something else you want to check out?
There's a couple things, and I'm probably, yes. Number one is the AI bots and virtual recruiters. If any HR people, I wanted to hashtag HR that, but I forgot to put the hashtag on it. But if anyone's listening to it right now, please stop doing this.
Yeah.
Just stop doing this. This is not a job for people. Is one of the most important things for them financially, obviously, and it gives them a sense of identity. If you are bringing in AI and hi, my name's Emily, and I'm a virtual assistant. Let me start asking you all about your past and your experience. That is a hard no. That is just an absolute turnoff in every sense of the word. I don't have any clients that have gone through this that have spoke the minute it spoke positively about it at all. They have literally told me, every time I come across this, I'm out. I'm done.
Could we use that in dating applications for singles though? Could we use
Good single here?
None of us now, but I mean, I have friends who are like,
Yeah, it really is
Darkest single,
damaging.
yeah.
It really is damaging to the trust factor. And people are. I'm hoping that, and most of my career clients are actively going through reading job descriptions. They've gone through stages and jobs of not really putting a whole lot of effort in. Where I'm coming in and helping them is we're actually putting time and effort into job descriptions and how does that match your experience in your resume. Where do you see the shortcomings? And when you're taking time to do all of that, and what you're exposed to is some form of virtual AI, and you're not even sure you're going to get past that. It's really it's feeding into the isolation and the loneliness epidemic in this country, and we need to stop that. We need to get back to relationships, picking up these wonderful things, these boxes or these squares in our hands. Believe it or not, they actually have a phone.
Yeah. Well, I told you. Oh my gosh! You know that the house phone is making a resurgence because a lot of parents don't want their kids having cell phones, so they're going back to the landlines. But literally yesterday, I saw a reel that popped up, and it said, "We get to slam the phones again." And I was like, "What?" Mm-hmm. And it is a boxed, old-looking black phone, like the handle, not the wall one, the old black heavy one, which. Good weapon, what I've heard from watching some of these murder mystery shows. But it plugs into your cell phone. Because I'll tell you, the cell phone is not the most comfortable thing to have stuck up to the side of your face. The old receivers were relatively comfortable. So I'm telling you, these are the elegant old kind. So you talk on it this way, and then you're...
I have Grandma's old phone, the black phone.
I thought you did, yes. And I think Hannah has one of the others. Yeah, the kids love playing with it.
They know what Rotary is now. So a lot of people do not know what Rotary is, but my grandkids do because they pick up the phone. They're calling people, call Santa on it.
Yeah.
And they're dialing around. They go.
The other thing that, you know what, that reminds me of that movie with, oh my gosh.
You can say any store and I won't know.
It's Lethal Weapon. I think it's Lethal Weapon 4, and Joe Pesci and I can't remember Chris Rock. No, it was like 1, 2, and they. I can't say the word that they used in the movie, but they Joe Pesci goes, they get you with the cell phone and the redial. Yeah, it's an epic, just an epic.
All right, we'll have to watch that up. Maybe that'll be a commercial.
Last thing I wanted to say, I know we're about where I'm headed with this is I want to dive into people that are managers that are inviting candidates into interviews and whether or not employers know how they're presenting themselves in an interview. Because I had an opportunity to sit in an interview and the candidate came back and said, I felt like I was bullied. Very, very blunt, direct questions with no personality, no interactions. And let me just finish this by saying that the interviewer never gave the client or the candidate an opportunity to ask questions before the interview was ended.
Mm. Well, the client should be using that as an interview as well, and maybe they shouldn't be doing business with them or walk away if that's something that works best for them.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. That was a high D interviewer. I've had to tone down my high D, so I can sympathize some. I'm not saying it's correct. That's why I've toned mine down. Lance, what have you been seeing?
We've seen that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Jennifer?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
We've seen applications go up big time. I've had like 7 so far this week. Right. Interest rates came down just a tiny little bit, but 5.99.
Wait, they dropped through the bottom? They're 3%? They're 2%? There's no interest?
Yeah, they've fallen through the bottom. We're paying you to get a loan now. Just call me. My information's below.
Wait, I think you need to pop something on the screen.
That 5.99 is still too high. I think I think I'm going to wait until it hits 0.
Right.
You just name the rate, and I'll make it happen, buddy.
-2.
Yeah.
Actually,
can you pay me money?
Yeah, that's still happening with the new construction. Is they're buying the rates down, really.
They are, but they've laid off of it, Jennifer. And the reason why is they're making less and less money.
Yeah,
the builders, it's an enigma. It's interesting. The builders have a lot of inventory, and they're not building 1 or 2 homes a year trying to make a living. They're building tens of thousands of homes a year, and it's like a big box store. They've got to bring in the product, they've got to move the product, and the more that you see promotionary type things, it means they're having a little bit of trouble selling the house. But now they've gotten into a position where they've been giving away so much for so long that it's conditioned people to think that, oh, if I'm going to go buy a house, I'm going to get all these things. I'm telling you, they pull back, and I've been able to get competitive. I've been able to enter the fray, so to speak. So that, I don't know how to read that as a good thing or a bad thing, but I can tell you that applications for me are up 1,000% week over week.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. And these are not refis; these are purchase and refi, right?
Purchase and refis, mostly purchase, Jennifer.
Good. I like to hear that.
I have to tell you, I have a customer that found, you ready for this? They found the unicorn. Murray County, 1 acre, $350K, $10,000 in seller concessions.
How big's the house?
22.
Oh, good condition.
That's a unicorn here, Catherine. That's not.
That's super good.
Sounds like a good deal.
Lance, that had my name.
Increase. That sounds like a great deal. Realistic.
That had my name written all
I'll
over
tell you
it.
this too. I have, because rates came down a little bit, I've called some customers of ours from the past and recently, and I mean, a couple of them I can save $200-$300. I've been able to do that because when Jennifer and I, we did 13 deals a year the last couple of years, a good amount.
Yeah.
And that's when rates were in the high 6s or low 7s. And I don't know, I'm frustrated. I've got some people are like, $250 a month isn't enough savings. And I've got to.
But what did Mark say last week? I mean, when we were talking about saving on the buy down, Mark, you said that a lot of the $200 impact on paying down debt is a huge impact.
Yeah.
So let us say it again. If you can save $200 to $300 on a refi, especially a streamline that you've done in the last 2 years, and then go ahead and put it to credit cards that you've maybe run up, because things have been tight, or because you've not been able to attack them as hard. Maybe you haven't even increased your balances, but now you can attack them harder. Or maybe you've been working with Mark for a few years and you are now out of debt. $200 a month, if it can attack your debt well, I think it'd do pretty well if you could invest it in a financial instrument as well.
Okay, problem solving 101. You're on the spot, Catherine.
Yes.
You heard that Jennifer and I do a lot of deals together. You heard that we did a lot of rates up in the 6s. Why do you think Jennifer said the word streamline? I'll answer it for you. Okay. Because 99% of the transactions we do, Jennifer, in the last couple of years, her main type of buyer has been a first-time home buyer. That's the main crux of her purchases.
For most people in general, it's been first-timers.
Yep. So 99% of our business are first-timers. 99% of them use an FHA loan to attain that first-time home ownership. So for everyone watching, and for you, Catherine, by the way, I can lend in Ohio. For anyone watching, I can lend everywhere but New York City and Hawaii. A streamline is for an FHA loan or a VA loan. It's called an interest rate reduction loan on a VA loan. But a streamline allows a borrower that has an FHA loan, so long as they've had a full year of making their payments, or 7 months. 7 months of making their payments on time. There's no appraisal. There's no income documentation. They just have to decrease their rate by 0.5%, and it's a flow through. It's an automatic loan. So
that's good to know.
I don't like to use the word no brainer, but because people don't understand it, we've got to get in front of them, explain it to them, but it betters their situation.
Yeah, it's like me to drop your rate without you having to do much more than click a few buttons and not provide a lot of details because you already have your details.
Well, I'll have to put my daughter onto you because she is a homeowner, and of course she was a first home time buyer, and I'm sure she can benefit from that. I still have an FHA loan, but that was from 2003. I never refinanced. The interest was 5.75. When it came down, I was questioning, should I go ahead and refinance? But then I paid so much of the interest already at this point, being 20 years in, that I felt that it wasn't beneficial for me, because then you have to do the interest and so forth. So it's interesting to me, the process of all the mortgage lending and what you can do for the savings. And it's really about the education and guidance. A lot of people don't understand.
Yep.
And
So
for anyone
about,
watching,
go ahead.
Catherine, you can do a loan, especially since you're 20 years in, you could do a loan for a 10-year term where the lender pays all of your fees. So there is nothing being reassessed to you or being asked, and still maybe win, as we're looking at. But let's talk about what Catherine's here to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say, she said problem solving, and that's really one of the big things. So I'll give Catherine a little background on Kathy. So my dad owned an insurance agency for, I don't know, from 1976 until they moved to Tennessee. So 25 some years ish, called Insurance Mart of Ohio. And Kathy's dad came to work for my dad and did very well. And then another gentleman named Steve came to work for them. And then when my dad sold the business, Steve started on his own. And Kathy, a couple years later, went to work for Steve, kind of got her feet wet in the insurance business because she had seen her father do it and my father do it, and knew that it was a skill set that she had, as well as just being able to help people, which is, I think if you've watched the podcast, you know it's big with me because it's big in my family. We're teachers, we're military, we help people. Yes, we're a lot in sales, but we're not like,
we don't chase the buck.
Buy a pen, we're like, And so then she launched out on her own with Easy Insurance Solutions. She has moved down to the Hocking Hills area and is working down there. But she also added the home warranty product, which the home warranty, and I'll let Kathy jump in more in a second, is I always describe it to my clients as what's not covered by your homeowner's insurance is generally covered by your home warranty. So, when we've got, like we're talking about those first time buyers, and you've got a 8-year-old HVAC system and it's running well, so there's no need to ask the seller to replace it. It's running. But you know that when you're selling your house or buying a new one, Murphy moves in with you sometimes and you don't even know it. Oh my gosh, Kathy, I have to tell you, Hannah's HVAC wasn't working because they didn't, even though I gave her the utilities, they didn't turn the gas on. They didn't realize it was gas heat. Then they got that squared away and they woke up one of the colder nights and it wasn't working again. And credit to Liam, because if Hannah and I were on our own, we probably would have torched the house because spider webs in the manifold or something. I'm like, I'm out. But they got that all taken care of. Yeah, like no. So tell us a little bit about home warranties. If you have any graphics to sell, did you send over the graphic? And I'll jump over and grab it if you did.
I did grab the flyer for the Tennessee, absolutely.
Okay,
and just
I'll grab that. Do you want it up on the screen?
On to what you said is that homeowners are for like big disasters, and the home warranty is more for your wear and tear, rust, corrosions, and breakdowns.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I didn't know if you was pulling up something. If you want me to go right into the
product. Ahead, and I'll pull it up and share it up on the screen. I'm jumped over and I'm putting it in somewhere I can find it easy.
Well, as you mentioned, our family is big into helping others. It's not about the bucks that we bring in. It's more about information, supporting solutions. That's why I put solutions in my name, because I'm not only for personal auto and homeowners and businesses. I also like to extend it to cover things that are going to break down regularly. And as a mother of 6 and a grandmother of 14, I know that.
Hold on, does that surprise you guys that she is a mother of 6 and a grandma of 14?
Wow. Please, no more grandchildren. Love them. Gets pretty expensive at Christmas, though.
I have nothing on you. Nothing.
There's this. I'm going to expand it to full size. I'm going to let you talk in the background. But if you need to refer to this, just, I can scroll up and down on it.
Absolutely. I've always been hard-headed, as you can tell, and that's why it took me so long to get into the business, because I wanted to explore other things. But towards my 40s, I felt that as maturity kicked in, that my dad did very well at helping others and being educational. So that's exactly what I want to do. And I want to, from understanding how rough it is to living paycheck by paycheck, then the budget, and it's a no-brainer to have the Cinch home warranty, because you can pay that throughout the year. You pay a deductible and you get the services that you need, that you get a contractor called out. Cinch takes care of everything. They find the contractor. If you're not satisfied with the contractor, they will find another one. And then if you have a contractor that you like, then you can always ask them to partner with Cinch. They're very easy to work with. You just have to verify that you're certified and so forth. And then that way you can have your own mechanic go ahead and work on your appliances as well. So there's some options.
Let me interrupt for a second and ask Mark a question about that. So Mark, a lot of times you're dealing with people who are on a tight budget. They're trying to squeeze extra out so that they can remove their debt or get to a financial situation that they're trying to achieve, whether it's buying a home or saving for the future or what have you. So Kathy, your base month starts, I think you said, around $30, and then it goes up to maybe around 60 or something a month.
Depending on which tier and so forth. There's actually 3 tiers. There's just the Water Essentials product, there's the Home Essential product, and then there's the Complete Home product, which I actually personally purchased myself, because it's going to cover all the appliances, your washer, your dryer, your HVAC.
Yeah. So that one, just kind of basic, what's it usually run around a month?
It usually runs around $46 and $49 a month.
Okay.
Typically around $650 a year.
Okay.
And
so
then
Mark, if someone was going to save
deductions, you have different deductions like 100, 200, 300, whatever you would be comfortable coming out of pocket, so you can lower that monthly bill by having a high deductible.
All right, perfect. So Mark, if somebody was concerned, like I know one of the things you're Ramsey, and it's like get $1,000 emergency fund and then get 3 months, but this is a way that if you don't have a sinking fund set up yet to pay for your HVAC or your water heater when it goes, or your refrigerator or your stove, or some of those necessary components of life for us in a first world country, that this is a reasonable expense that you may want to add into your budget, even though you're trying to bring your budget down, because it protects you from an overall expense. And so I wanted to ask you, is that something that you could see being a valuable component for your, especially beginning budget people?
Yeah, absolutely. And, let's go back to the fundamentals of a budget. The fundamentals of a budget is that it's a spending plan. It's not designed to constrain your life. It's designed to lay out what you're spending your money on, and controlling that money. To your point about someone that might be just starting on a debt journey, whether it's long or short, doesn't matter. But right now, for those listening, let's play this out. If you're on a debt journey and you're just starting now, and you had an HVAC problem go out, and you don't have an emergency fund built up because you're plowing through debt, how are you going to handle that?
Those can cost up to $5,000 alone just for the heating component.
I know for a fact that a blower motor inside of an air handler is roughly $4,000 and I know that because I had to replace one.
Right.
So to answer your question, Jennifer, and not to take too much time away from Catherine's presentation, is it is if a budget is a spending plan, and I'm trying to, I believe that having a strong offense is just as, or having a strong defense is just as important as having a strong offense. Then, as an alternative to building up, and an addition, not just an alternative, but as an addition onto your budget, absolutely. If this is going to prevent me from having a $5,000 bill that's going to derail my efforts, 100%.
Yeah. So Kathy, how does it work? So let's say that today I go out and I call you up and I'm like, hey, I want to add a home warranty here. My units are all working right now. Nothing's broken.
Good, because it has to be in working condition when you sign up for the program.
Okay. And that's the other reason that sometimes people will buy these when they're buying a new home, which is another division from what you did, but still call Kathy and she can connect you if you're buying a home, because you've had the home inspection, you know, everything's working. So I sign up, and in a week, you know, maybe my HVAC just goes out. Does it matter if it gets hit by lightning and goes out, or does it?
Well, because then that might be a homeowner's thing, right? It's actually covered on your homeowners.
Yeah. Okay. So this just scraps out.
No, however, no, it don't scrap out, because Cinch Home Warranty has $1,000 per a acceptable claim that they will give back towards you that you had to put towards that homeowner's claim.
Oh, so if I had like a $3,000 home insurance deductible, now it just becomes magically $2,000.
That is correct.
That's Absolutely. Fantastic. I didn't know that. So let's say that my
as well as they'll give you a $25 certificate every year for a filter to help maintenance that HVAC.
Yeah, which you should do at least every quarter. So let's just say that let's say it's my water heater. You know that my water heater rusted out in the bottom one year, leaked all over the garage. It was a snow day. I had my 4 kids and 3 extra neighborhood kids. My dog was having a situation that was coming from both ends. And it was a snow day, and my water heater exploded in the garage. So this has happened, and now I need a new water heater.
It's so common because it happened to me as well.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how Cinch helped me versus what you had experienced.
Yeah. So, okay. And so one of the reasons, by the way, what our plumber says, you should drain your hot water heater every year, because the sediment in our water, what it does is it solidifies into rocks in the bottom, and those rocks heat up, and then they blow out the bottom. So anyway, but what happened when yours happened? What did you do? How do you do this?
Well, first of all, the home warranty doesn't just cover the HVACs and so forth. Let's talk about the toilets, the faucets, everything that's related to the home appliances and so forth. And unfortunately, everybody's not blessed with a husband as like mine.
Yeah,
he can go off and do whatever he needs to do, rehabbing, fixing, tweaking the HVAC or the plumbing, the sinks, putting things in. But in my situation, just recently, actually in 2025, I used Cinch because my water heater tank has a bad smell, because when we bought this house, it didn't get flushed. We have a well system, and the like you said, the components get stuck at the bottom. Let you know that it doesn't get flushed out once you start flushing it out after it's been a couple years. Just let you know that. But that can start corroding and rusting and so forth, and then you have leaks. I do recommend a water sensor. They're very cheap, and then you can just put it right there in the tray of the water heater tank. Just a little tip. So what happened was they had a contractor come out. They took photos. They seen that it was leaking around the floor. And then he went back. He reported it to the Cinch. Next thing I know, they was offering me a new hot water tank. But at that time, I did not know what kind of tank I wanted to do. If I wanted to upgrade it to a tankless, or what new unit I wanted. So I did a buyout. Cinch will do a buyout. They will give you up to that amount of what you can get of like kind. So you can upgrade. Now, they won't give you more to upgrade, but they will give you up to the appliance worth. So that way you can make that decision if you want to upgrade.
So if your appliance is worth $1,000, they'll give you up to $1,000. But if you want to buy $1,500, you pay the difference.
That's correct. Now, particularly on certain items, there is a cap. I believe the water heater tank is $1,000. Just like any policy, there are caps and so forth. But yes, up to the $1,000, they provided it to me.
And usually you can get a water heater for close to $1,000, maybe $1,200. But
because I have my husband,
yes,
we got it a really great one for $800, pocketed $200.
Nice.
But if you're going to have a technician, I would rather you go through the actual contractor that they hired.
For sure.
They're going to ensure that your job gets completely done.
Yeah. And when we say like her husband is handy, they have essentially rebuilt their house. So like we're talking, he might not be licensed as a GC, but he's essentially a GC. So it's wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful if you can have somebody like that. But yes, use the contractor when need be. So you were saying faucets too. So let's say that I have a drippy faucet and it needs replaced. And like my sink faucet was like $100 or $200 because I got what I wanted. It's like, spray and does all kinds of stuff. That was the whole sink set.
If you had that, they will reimburse you or replace it up to that particular faucet. Now, if you got like a basic $30 one, they're going to do it as a $30. But if you upgrade it to $300, you're going to want to protect that. So the $150 deductible is going to be a savings in your pocket by just going through them and letting them replace it. And then you never know if it's going to discover additional issues such as down the pipelines and so forth. My friend, she is by herself, and she actually has used Cinch home warranty technically 5 times. She calls them when the toilet's not flushing. It covers sump pumps, faucets, smoke detectors, your built-in microwaves, doorbells, lightning, garage door openers, ceiling fans, things that you would not even expect or even think.
Did you say pipes?
I think you.
Yes, it does have an addition that has an endorsement where we'll cover pipes and so forth as well. So beyond the additional piping that you need to come to your faucet or the hot water tank, if you purchase the endorsement, they will have additional funds, $1,000 towards that repair. Typically, instead of just the appliance being replaced, just up to the cosmetic and so forth, replacing it. If they discover, well, you're not up to code, or you need to do this to the piping first, if you have that endorsement, they will go further beyond that appliance.
Does that count for like the septic or the sewer drain run pipe too?
There are limitations again, and I can definitely go over with anybody the terminology and so forth. But yes, if you have the wells, there are endorsements for the wells, and sump pump is actually included. So that's a very major one, especially with any homes anywhere.
I knew that well, and that's an important one to know. And also when you have a swimming pool, you can add endorsements, I think, for like the pool pump and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. You can add those in additionally. There's always these endorsements and so forth. So then you're taking your package up to 46, but those are what's going to save you over the long run. So whatever obtains you, we get to customize the package towards your needs. But the basics of it, not really the basic because it's the third tier, the complete home package, that's why I recommend it, because it's going to cover all that. Now, when you just do the bare minimum of the water essentials, that's going to cover your plumbing.
I'm going to see if I can add this to the stage.
Yeah, you're going to, it is going to cover the interior plumbing and the gas lines, the plumbing stoppages, concrete, toilets, faucets, and so forth. So that's going to come with your $20 a month and so forth. Absolutely right there. You can see the differences, the water essentials. So there's a comparison, what each will include. The home essentials is great as well. It's going to cover the major systems, appliances, garbage disposals. But the complete home is where the sweet spot is, because that's going to have the additional $1,000 reimbursement. It has 100. Well, they all have 100-day workmanship guarantee.
Okay.
But it also has up to $1,200 emergency fund. So if you have appliance that's causing to where you can't reside in your home, they will give you a $1,200 reimbursement for having to stay outside of your home.
Catherine, can you apply this to, let's say a person has rental properties and is managing those rental properties through another business? Can you apply this to rental properties and
any homeowner? Now, I will have to look about the industrial, like in an LLC and so forth. I do know that because I have a rental home as well. My daughter stays in it. I worry about all the time if something breaks, the stove. Right. So, I can actually get the package for my rental. So I would have 2 plans, one for this property, one for the other property.
Yeah.
And, because at that stage, you have to decide, what's worth it. Because I can go in the west side of Columbus, go get an appliance, a refrigerator, or a washer and dryer. Well, you were able to 3 years ago for $150. But you don't know what the condition is. You got a 30-day guarantee or so forth. And then you have to go replace it again. But wouldn't it be nice instead, if your refrigerator breaks down, to just be able to get that buyout, go buy a brand new refrigerator so you don't have to worry about that appliance for the next 10 years? If you're like 15.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think is that you pointed out, you kind of leaned into it, that I thought was really good, is for a single mom who is at a home, doesn't working, taking care of kids, and trying to figure out how to navigate a broken refrigerator, while there's a little bit of peace of mind that may come with that. She may not have the opportunity to sit there and find alternatives and having, again, going back to your budget, if you're allocating some resources in your spending plan for the protecting yourself against this, while you're trying to take care of a home and you're a single mom with some kids, this might be this is an alternative. And
seniors as well, Mark. Seniors
as well. Yeah, absolutely.
It's very good. So,
well, think of it this way: that if you put aside just $50 a month, and so that's going to be divide that by the $1,500, for an example, for the refrigerator, you're going to be spending that well over 24 months, 30 months. It's going to break out. But what about your other appliances? That's just that one appliance. So then $50 to be able to pay for future incidences or replacements or so forth is definitely worth putting it into your budget. And then the $150, if you choose the $150 deductible, you can easily, once you use a claim up, start trying to work towards saving that up. So that way, if something happens, you don't have to worry about scrounging for the $150. It's already there. You know exactly how much it's going to cost. You don't have to say, well, it's going to be anywhere from $150 to $5,000. So you know that you can easily come up. Not easily, but you can come up with 150 versus 5,000.
So if you were to take, and this is where the cost breakdown and it really comes in handy and lends to your presentation. $50 a month for 12 months is $600. Mm-hmm. I want to ask anyone out there right now, do you think you can go to, you can buy a refrigerator for $600, but is that going to be the refrigerator that,
that you once had?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry.
I had to buy a stove just now. I had to buy a stove and it was $1,200 on sale.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you're not saving, you don't have an emergency fund, and you're talking about a $1,500 item, right, Kathy, on the refrigerator?
Absolutely, they cover up to $1,500. I believe it's up to $3,000 they cover on the appliances.
Right.
So that was just an example of an average amount.
Yeah.
So what is that going to take you? 5 years of saving $50 a month, and you're a single mom with kids relying on the appliances because your day is hectic to begin with.
Well, and you haven't put it on a credit card.
What if your refrigerator breaks and then a month later your washer breaks? Then you've got to dip out there. Now, Cinch does they encourage you to make more than one claim a year, which again, it doesn't go towards a homeowner's, like when you make a claim on a homeowner's policy. There's no renewal deduction or saying that it doesn't.
There's no gotcha.
Well, I think there's even a larger conversation here too about warranties, right? Yeah. So how many people out there have or have not, and this is a question for the realtors and Lance as well. When a person buys a house, they're buying more than likely appliances that are already in the house. A lot of times, at least the stove, maybe a microwave. How are people actually registering? Number one, are those products registered from the previous owner? Number two, are they transferable warranties? Number three, if they go into that new house and it's out of warranty, then and they can't save $50 because they're paying off debt or what have you, then this. How do they handle that? I mean, outside of warranty, you have a refrigerator that goes out because it was never registered. It's not transferable. And like Catherine, you said, you have a washer that goes out, or you have a problem. Oh, lo and behold, it's in Texas and it's 105 degrees in July, and your blower motor goes out. All very, very possible situations.
For sure.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't like the hot. I don't like the cold. I like it just right. So when my HVAC goes out, I am miserable. And so Cinch would be my best friend. And just for an example with my refrigerator, I actually was hoping that it broke down. So it wasn't keeping the milk. It was either the milk was spoiled from Kroger's a week after week after week, or it was my refrigerator after I searched AI, because it is helpful in certain ways. Why is my milk spoiling so fast before the expiration date? Found out that my refrigerator was not holding the temperature. It was too down. So what I did, instead of just filing a claim, I took my steps. I ordered the thermostat to find out what temperature was that my refrigerator was. Found out that it was way off. It was working all the way up to, now I bought it off my daughter when she bought her house. She upgraded her refrigerator. She sold it to me. I now have her refrigerator. My warranty covers that refrigerator. It's a nice Frigidaire. And so when I seen the temperature, I was getting ready. I was like, yes, I'm going to get a new refrigerator because there's no way that with the sealant and everything that they're going to find it beneficial to replace this thing or repair it. I'm going to get a replacement. But then I adjusted it. I turned the volume up all the way. And so, but I know that it's about to go out because if I have to stress it out by going all the way up high into the temperatures in order to get a 37 degrees to keep my milk from spoiling, then I know that's in my pocket and I'm getting excited. But then it regulated, it's staying at 8, 9, but I know that it's there for when it goes out completely.
Yeah, that's what happened with my stove. It wasn't holding temperature. Now, Kathy, I have a really important question before I forget. I know you sell in Tennessee. I know that you sell in Ohio. Pretty sure you sell in Virginia because I've talked to you about having one for my daughter, Mariah. Do you sell in Texas where Mark is?
Yes, because Cinch home warranty is not like an insurance policy, so I don't have to be licensed in that area. I just need to be appointed with Cinch. Now, of course, Hawaii and California is not included. They have their own simulations, of course, but in every other state itself, I did find that there was difficulties in Florida, but typically, and I don't understand why, but typically in all other states,
maybe the hurricanes.
Yes, I'm not. I think they have to go with it's contracted where they have to use their own agents because they do offer Cinch down there.
Okay. So maybe you have to be licensed in it. So, and then that was the other thing I wanted to mention is, we joke that when you're starting to budget, Murphy is going to move in with you. When you buy a house, Murphy's going to move in with you. And people get frustrated because they're like, we did the home inspection and we did. And on the day of the home inspection, this, and this worked. I can buy a new car, a new to me car and everything's fine. But then the brakes go out because that's just the timing. Same thing when you sell a house. When you list a house, things tend to pop off too. Like you're like, oh, I just listed my house and now my refrigerator died. So home warranties, we do have a lot of times in the contract, like there's a line in the Tennessee contract, home warranty, yes or no. If you check yes, to be provided by buyer or seller. I think that there's usually a little bit of a discount on the front side if you buy it on closing day or close to it. And like we said, you can connect them with the real estate side. They can still reach out to you, but you can buy it at any time. A lot of people are under the misinformation that you can only buy it when you buy the house. And that is not correct. But the other thing with sellers, a lot of times with home warranties, when you say I'm going to offer the buyer of my home a home warranty because my HVAC is 8 years old. It's running fine, but we know that home inspectors are like, oh, it's 12 years old and its life expectancy is only 20 years or whatever they're going to say. So a lot of times there's not a fee to the seller until closing and the policy is given to the buyer, but it covers their items from the day they sign their listing agreement. But if they end up having to utilize it, they pay for the deductible. Now, I don't know how Cinch goes, but that is something that we have gone into on certain things. And it's something I talk to my sellers about when I do a listing appointment.
Absolutely. I have a true example for that, but you're absolutely correct. I can connect you to the real estate side where they give you discounts and you can actually have it from day one, from when you walk into the door. Yeah. And then it can actually be paid off by the sellers or the person that's purchasing it. To circle back around it, if you purchase it outside of the real estate, then there is a 30-day waiting period because they want to ensure that your appliances are working because, of course, let's all admit it, it's fraud. Your appliances kicked it and you go ahead and get the Cinch and they're going to replace
people do
that. They do. And that's the way that they protect themselves is by the 30 days. Now, from the new purchasing, I'll give you an example. Back in 2003, I didn't offer Cinch at the time because I wasn't an agent. But I moved into a home, single mom at the time in July. And then, so I never had to use the HVAC. We didn't have air conditioning. I didn't have to use the heater. Comes October, it's getting cold early. I turn the heater on and it doesn't work. It's the old octopus kind that has all those, but it wouldn't work. So I went round and round and round and round. They say it's a I try to go use my insurance. I try to go to the warranty. I got a little pushback because they try to say it was pre-existing.
Pre-existing.
And it come to be a crack in the in the unit. So it had to be replaced. So then I had to pay for the asbestos because the old little octopus furnace had asbestos, which I had to pay out of pocket, which fine. I got it removed, but I got an all new ductwork replaced. The home warranty that I had at the time did cover the brand new furnace. I only paid $1,000 out of pocket. The whole cost would have been $5,000. I'm a mother of 3, single mother. How am I going to afford that? Yeah. So I'd rather pay the deductible and get it done.
Yeah. Perfect. Lance, did you have any inputs on this? Have you had any clients that should have had this or did have it, or have any questions for Kathy about it?
100% everybody should have it. And I know that almost every deal I see with Jennifer, I see that on there. So it's definitely being discussed. I know it's part of your initial interview to talk about the things that are going to help people. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many people previously in the past aren't aware that they can have a product like this, a coverage like this, even after they just bought it. They can have it for years, and every once in a while we'll run into someone who's like, "Yeah, renewing it $600, whatever it is a year." And oh my gosh, that saved me several $1,000s this year because finally that went out. So it's one of the most overvalued, underappreciated things that you can do with your mortgage and your home. So I'm super glad, Catherine, that you came and told us about your 16 grandchildren and this product.
Absolutely, because I'm the one that wants to save. If it's something extra or warranty, depending on what it is, like you get to 2-year warranty or so forth with your appliance, I'm one to skip that out because I need to save that money. Because with all these grandkids, I can't buy Christmas without saving this money.
Right?
So, that's one budget in there that I definitely don't leave out. Now, when I was starting out, it was hard, and there was many times I wished, but I went to the corner and bought me a used unit, which I could have got a new one. So.
Well,
it's all new situation.
Analogy I want to use. We've all been to that restaurant. Does everybody on the call eat steak? Raise your hands. Everybody eat steak. Okay, we all like a good steak. We've all gone to that restaurant that everyone's told us about. You gotta go try this. We get there, we sit down, and we're like, "I'm thinking about doing the prime." The server comes up. "What can I help you with today?" Okay, I'm thinking about getting the prime rib. "Oh, I don't eat meat." Okay, that's never a good thing. And Catherine just sat here and gave us example after example of how she uses this herself, from the horse's mouth, as they would say. You couldn't have a better representation. So thank you, Catherine.
Absolutely. As a new agency trying to strive and so forth, not really much income coming in as you're starting up. So, I had to think about that myself. Do I save this money or do I take the risk? Right. I actually, with budgeting, I put in my budget. I'm too scared not to have it anymore with all the what ifs. And that when you have one disaster, you typically have 3.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of insurance, Easy Insurance Solutions, if you are in Ohio, Kathy can help you with your homeowners and your auto and business, toys, business, all the things. Marine. I have a question for you related to the storm, because I'm going to take this down really quick. And you may not know, and it may be different in Ohio. There were a number of situations where trees that the root was in my yard and the branch fell on Lance's fence, and it was Lance's fence, not mine. Because, I didn't have a fence. I just had the part where it was with him. And they were not covering that. It had to go on Lance's insurance. Is that the way it is in Ohio? And if his tree limb is hanging over mine, can I go cut it down?
Repeat that last part. Can you cut it down away?
If my tree limb is hanging over his fence, and he's like, "Hey, can you get this taken care of?" And I don't. Can he go cut it down? It's on his side, and I think you can.
I believe so, because I have that same situation at my rental. I have a house that's actually, or a tree that's grown on the other side of the fence, but it's grown up to where it knocks my chimney, but I have to cut that down. They are not responsible. Now, they cut the whole tree down other than that branch that goes above my roof, because they're scared of a liability of something happening, because then they would be responsible. Rather than that tree limb just falling on my roof, that's on me. So it is a tricky situation. And what I have learned is that the homeowner that the damage occurred to has to be the one responsible for that. I mean, you can always do civil and so forth and who's liable. But in the end, that tree of the other person's property damaged my property. So I should have every right to trim that tree.
Right. I don't want to go out and hack your oak. I love trees, but at the same time, I've got to protect my house.
Yeah, I have chimney blocks. When the wind blew, it was knocking my chimney blocks. Yeah, I don't use my chimney, but still is destruction.
Yeah, no good. So anybody else have any questions? Because we're approaching 50 minutes and we usually wrap between 45 and 60. So Easy Insurance Solutions, Cinch Home Warranty, all the states except for California and Hawaii, insurance in Ohio. Lance, when you do your next loan up in Ohio, you can suggest Kathy as an insurance agent up there.
I'm an independent agent, so I represent multiple different carriers to try to find the right company to fit your needs.
Yep, for sure.
I'm going to steal that. I'm an independent broker that.
I am too.
I'm bringing the service back. No more AI bots, especially,
She's bringing service back.
How do we look alike?
I'm serious.
We got some Timberlake in there today.
Yeah. I just think this AI, the AI bots, man, people are, they're
taking a personal touch away, but it is good for become knowledgeable, because I would not be as knowledgeable today because Google, you have to search and look and see somebody's opinion. Well, AI chat GPT is going to gather all that information, but it hallucinates. It's only going to give you what your tone is. It's not going to give you always the accurate information. And when you're doing something as important as getting a job, you want that personal touch. You want to know that you're appreciated just as much as they're going to appreciate you, and vice versa.
I'm telling you, this is the beginning of I think people deciding this is too invasive. I honestly, there are areas where it's helpful, and I love AI. I use AI often, but when it comes to careers and that personal touch and building trust, you better have a person on that other phone, or you're not going to get a minute of my time.
Let me ask you, Mark, when they come out with the robots to bring you a cup of coffee, you going to invest in one of those?
I'm coming out with a lightsaber. I'm going Star Wars on it.
You're on the phone instead of yelling, operator, recruiter, person, representative. Oh, Lord. All right. On that note, represent. We're going to cut out. Thank you for joining us, Kathy. Don't click off, because once we end, H. One of these things is not like the